So by the time senior year came around, I was getting acceptance letters while everyone was just sending out their applications. So I was way ahead of the game. Before winter break my senior year, I already had like 6 acceptance letters, bro. Already. Mind you, I knew college was a scam, wasn't entrepreneurial still at the time. And then I get to college, I love it, I'm having a blast. Fast forward a bit. Then March 2020, a pandemic happened. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Walk to Wealth podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube or any of the podcast directories, make sure to do yourself one teeny tiny little favor and make sure to give us a follow because I don't want you to miss out on any of the amazing guests I got coming on this year. And this episode is going to be a fire episode. We got Darren coming back. He was on the 200th podcast episode. We were chopping it up the other day. And jokingly, I was like, yo, Darren, we should have an episode talking about how to talk to your parents about dropping out. We both are proud dropouts. And so he was with it. I said it jokingly, but he was with it. So now we're here. So, Darren, for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to get to know you, to get to meet you yet, man, tell us your elevator pitch. Who are you and what do you do?
What's up, everybody? My name is Darren Booker. I'm a real estate agent in Connecticut. I'm on the Valerie King team. Just joined. Happy about that. I'm a proud college dropout.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a college dropout as well. So we got two peas in a pod here. So I think they know my dropout story. For anyone that's listened in the past, I'll get back into it. For anyone tuning in, I'll share the dropout story. But Darren, let's start off with you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I mean, you asked me. I think I've told you, but I never actually broke it down what really went through. So
all right, so tell us how you dropped out.
All right, so I gotta give the people a little bit of context. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I always knew college was a scam.
Mm-hmm.
So back in high school, I seen this one chart. It was like from the 1960s to like at that time, tuition had gone up like over 60%,
Yep.
and wages had only gone up about 20% in that same time period.
Mm-hmm.
So like off of that, I already knew like, yeah, this is definitely a scam because why college prices are going up so much, but money isn't going up to match it.
Exactly.
Right. Then junior year, I was always a grade above in math.
Uh-huh.
So I was in pre-calc, and Noodles, which is a guy on our football team, he was in my calc class, my pre-calc class. He was doing his Collin app essay. He was in a computer lab one day, and he was like, yo, bro, John, you got to get on this. I'm like, what is it? He was like, this is how you apply to colleges. So I'm like, all right, bet, boom. So I start getting on that junior year, and then towards quarter 4 of junior year, I was in Avid. Mm-hmm. So like that's a special class, whatever, focus on like college stuff. And they had us write a college essay. So I ended up writing my college essay and having my whole Common App done before I even started my senior year. So by the time senior year came around, I was getting acceptance letters while everyone was just sending out their applications. So I was way ahead of the game, bro. I was like almost before December, before winter break my senior year, I already had like 6 acceptance letters, bro.
Okay.
Already. So like let me just come in left and right. Mind you, I knew college was a scam, wasn't entrepreneurial still at the time. And then I get to college, I love it, I'm having a blast. Fast forward a bit. Then March 2020, a pandemic happened. And so now I'm still taking out student loans, but now I'm not even getting the college experience I signed up for. Mm-hmm. And like I wasn't freaking getting any networking opportunities because everyone had their camera off. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, like, I don't know how it was at West Hill or whatever, but like at UConn, like you couldn't force someone to have their camera on. Mm-hmm. And so people would just hop on, sign in, turn their cameras off, go back to sleep. And then on tests, we were cheating on everything. Uh-huh. So like, bro, that was so bad, bro. And the teachers didn't really know what to do. Even when we came back after that summer break and fall semester started, like they didn't know what they were doing. And then from there, I ended up reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. That kind of kickstarted everything for me. And I bought a wholesaling course that winter break. That was my first ever course I invested in. It was $500. And that's how I got interested in real estate. Mm-hmm. Then around spring semester came around. This is 2021 now.
Yeah.
And around that time, I ended up working at K Jewelers. Mm-hmm. Working at K, right? Real estate wholesaling ain't end up working out. Some attorney gave me some bad information. And I was like, all right, let me dead the idea. Yeah. Right. And pretty much starting at K Jewelers, started my first time in sales, right? Mm-hmm. And then from there, bro, I ended up enjoying it. And I already had this interest in real estate. I ended up meeting with this one guy who was like, oh, you need to get a mentor. I asked him to be my mentor. And I kind of re-sparked the flame. And I was talking to my friend Em at the time. And she also was interested in getting her license. So he was like, yo, we got to sign up for the class. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up both signing up for the class at the same time. And when I signed up for Real Estate University, I was like, F it, I'm going to just go with this. And then this is part of something I actually haven't shared before, bro. Mm-hmm. But like, bro, so the deciding factor for me, like really dropping out. So I ended up showing up for my college classes, signed up for Real Estate University, right? Yeah. All right, this is my 4th semester, spring 2021. Mm-hmm. And then UConn was like, you got to get the shot if you want to come back on campus. Yep. And I was like, bro, I ain't with it. And that was like the final like straw that like broke the camel's back, bro. But for me, I always knew that college wasn't it. But like that was like the thing. I ended up pursuing real estate, and then like that last thing was the final straw. That I was just like, bro, yeah, I don't know, this not for me. Mm-hmm. And so like that's what like how I ended up dropping out. And we got a little bit more into it later about like, you know, what my grandparents had to say, whatever. But like that's the context. So like to now flip the question back to you, like what made you even be open to the decision to dropping out, bro?
So I'm gonna start back in high school. Okay, so March 2020, obviously pandemic happened. Yeah. Everything got shut down. This is when my bad student ways started. Once the pandemic started, I had maybe one Zoom class for the rest of high school, and you know, I had to do a few assignments to pass. So I graduated high school basically doing nothing. So when I get to college in fall of 2020, I'm waking up, I'm going on a Zoom call. I never hopped on a Zoom call before. So I'm sitting there in class, I'm learning, but I'm not learning at the same time. So I feel like I'm falling behind, but you know, I'm not getting the best grades, but I'm getting the passing grades. So first semester of college, I actually ended up on academic probation, I believe, because like one of the classes that I had, I wasn't showing up because it was too early in the morning, and I would just be asleep. So it was like, dang. So then second semester comes around, because I used to work for like 5 days at ShopRite. Like I used to work like almost every day at ShopRite. Yeah. So when the second semester came around, I actually took like just some days off. Like I think I only worked 3 at the time. Yeah. So I got better grades. I got academic probation. I had like a 2.3, but you know, it was like that around that time. I was like, man, like I just did a whole semester of school online. Like I could have just taught this to myself, or you know, I'm not learning what I wanted. So actually, I didn't even get into it. My major was sports management. I wanted to be a sports agent originally. So, you know, I'm going there. I'm learning about the history of United States, the history of the world, and I'm like, dang. So then third semester comes around. I do a little bit better than I did second semester, and my GPA goes a little bit higher. But then fourth semester came around, and this is where everything like falls apart. So I'm in biology class, all right? And if you know me, I know nothing about science. I couldn't tell you something on the periodic table. So I'm taking biology. I'm not doing good. I'm doing terrible, actually, because the teacher, she's just lecturing. That's the thing about college. They never tell you that. And like in high school, like you could take notes and stuff, and like you'll go over the notes and you'll go over the notes. In college, it's just you take the notes and you're expected to know them. So that was another factor. So while I'm in this biology class, I'm not learning anything. I'm getting failing grades. John actually dropped his podcast episode. I think it was episode 2 or 3 on how to get into real estate. And he had just posted actually how to get started in real estate on his Instagram. So yeah. When I saw it, yo, for anyone that's looking, bro, that video, if y'all go back, it's still up there. That video, the quality was so trash. I had a Loom recording, bro. Right? You remember? Yeah. I had a Loom recording, so you see me screen recording my laptop screen, and there's like a little circle with my little head in the bottom. I had mind you, I ain't have a camera like this. I had the microphone for my Xbox, my Turtle Beaches, right? I had my laptop camera, and freaking, I ain't have no mic. You feel me at the time, and so like that was like my first ever video on like that I ever posted on IG or social media. Yeah, man, that took me back, man. That was that planted the seed. And then it was like a few days after, I think I DM'd John because he was still posting on Instagram. He was very active with the real estate stuff at the time. So I texted him. I told him I was interested in getting into real estate. And that's pretty much how I got the ball rolling. Yeah. So I got the ball rolling.
All right, so let's talk. Let's get into it. So I mean, we're already here with you. So I talked to you, hit me up. Which is surprising. Around that time, I don't really talk to many people that I used to talk to back in high school. Everyone goes their separate ways. But you had hit me up, and I'm like, oh, my boy D Books, I bet. And I honestly don't really remember the conversation, how it went, or like what I said. But from like your perspective, because you remember a little bit better than me.
Yeah, it was like so. So you asked me to hop on the call the next day around like I think it was like 3:30, whenever you were free, and it was like you were interviewing me for you wanted to know why I wanted to get into real estate. So you asked me, what were your plans when you got into real estate? How do you see yourself doing? Just like questions like that. It was like I was like, oh dang, I'm getting interviewed before, and so John interviewed me like that, and then I think the next week. I got a call from Adonis. Shout out Adonis.
And then all right, so now let's get into the good stuff, right? So the listeners are here for like how to bring up dropping out to your parents, right? Or your caregivers or whoever you're living with, right? So like for you, like once you got the idea of planning, how long did it take from like you getting that seed planted about like, maybe dropping out is a good idea to, all right, I'm actually going to move forward with it. And did you move forward with it before telling your parents or after telling your parents?
So it went something like this. Okay, so at the time I was still, obviously I was still in biology because I was planning on still going up to stores, UConn stores. So I was still going through everything, but I was learning how to, what my next steps were in real estate. So what really sealed it for me, I think I had it was after my birthday. I had a lab class for it was the day of my birthday. I had a lab class for biology, and I went and I took the test, and I think I failed the exam, and I was like, yeah, I'm dropping out of this class. So then, if you know anything about college, you have to actually take a science class. So I didn't take a science class, so that ended up hurting me real bad because I didn't get into the sports management program at UConn. So you see that I'm like, dang, I'm not going to school for what reason? So that's when I really started to get the ball rolling, and then also I watched some videos of Ryan Serhant. That's another person who got me into real estate. So basically. Once that happened, that's when I was like, man, I need to learn what I need to do to drop out, basically, without with the option to come back. I don't plan on going back, but I could if I wanted to. So what I did was I think I withdrawed. It was withdraw, or I don't know what the other option was. So I just withdraw basically just to, test the waters. But once I ended up dropping out or like
withdrawing.
Yeah, once I was set on it, I actually hopped on another call with John. I was like, John, I'm scared. I don't know what to tell my parents that I don't want to go to school anymore. Like I'm terrified. I actually don't know how to tell them I don't want to go to school anymore. And so yeah, that's when everything started after my birthday or on the day of my birthday.
Yeah, that's so. To take it back for me a little bit, bro. So, my plans, I was calculated, bro, because I knew college was a scam going into it. So I'm like, all right, how can I go to school? Right, my grandparents, they don't got the money. They're retired, right? They're living on Social Security. Like I'm living with them. So it's like we don't got no money for college, bro. So how can I set myself up so that they never have to put any money into it? Because if I'm not taking anyone's money, then, and no one's helping me, at least for my family, I had help to apply for all the school stuff like that. But like, if no one from my family is helping me, well then they're not helping me get there. They're not taking me on tours. They're not putting any money for me to go there.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you say doesn't really matter to me, bro. And like, I know everyone's situation with their parents, but they're, whoever they grew up with difference. But for me, it's like, you don't get a say if I'm the one doing all the work? Like, you have no say. I don't care. You're not telling me nothing, bro. And like on top of that, so that, mind you, I had no plans of dropping out originally. I was gonna go through with it, but I set myself up like for just in case whatever something happened. I don't want no one saying, but I gave you all this money. I did this, that, and that for you. I took out loans in your name for you. Oh, you have to pay me back. Like, nah, I didn't want none of that to happen. So I did what I had to do to get to college, right, without having to rely on anyone in my family.
Yeah.
And so when the decision came, I actually didn't talk to anyone about it. I just decided. I remember, it was crazy. So I remember hopping on a call with my advisor. Because this time it's 2021, my fourth semester, right? And I was literally on the phone, on a Zoom call with my advisor, and I had requested that I wanted to drop out, right? And now they start interviewing me, right? And you're like, okay, so like, oh, so like, what's your plans? Like, you can always come back, yada yada. And I'm over there saying like, so here's my game plan, like, I'm gonna get into real estate. I'm gonna become an agent, start selling houses here, right? And then from there, use that money to then get back into real estate investing and start getting my rental portfolio going. And because I watched some videos, you know what I mean? I knew what I was saying. It sounded good. You feel me? So she was on there. She was on the call, and she like normally they'll try like the almost like objection handle. You, so like that you stay because they think that most people that drop out is like, oh, if you drop out, life is
it's gonna be hard.
Yeah. So it's like she's trying to objection handle me, but like. She stopped real quick because like she like you could just tell my voice that there was no swaying me to change my mind. Like I just came with that conviction like here's what I'm gonna do and here's my game plan. I just want to let you know that's what I'm doing. Like so that I can get the next step to actually proceed with dropping out. And that's for me. That was it. So I ended up. I don't think I took finals that semester, and it just. I stopped showing up to classes, stopped doing all my work, and started doing real estate university. I remember I had a trip to Miami I went to, and we were in Miami hopping on our real estate university calls. Because if you miss one call, if you miss a call, like the way the real estate university works, like if you miss a call, like there's like 15 different lessons. And each call is one lesson. So if you miss it, you're not going to get to see that lesson until like the next time it comes around. So if you miss it once in a cycle, man, you guys are going to have to wait until all the way comes around.
That happened to me. I had done all my classes, like every single one, every class that you could think of in real estate university. And then the last class that I needed, I overslept. Dang. So it was like, dang. And at the time I was going to Rolling Loud, the concert. So I was in Miami. And so I think it might have been, I don't know if I missed 2 classes or 1 class, but the days the classes rolled around, they interfered with my trip to Rolling Loud. So while I was going to Rolling Loud, I was actually in the real estate university classes, just sitting there looking in because you can't pass if you don't have your camera on. So basically I was just sitting there with my camera on, just not learning anything, not taking any notes. So
just like college. Just like college, bro. Not learning anything, taking notes. Not taking no notes.
No, not taking no notes. But in real estate school, you don't need half what they teach you. I'll tell you that.
100%. So bro, alright, so boom. So to bring it back to you, right? You said that you hopped on a phone call with me, started talking about dropping out. You said you was nervous, you was scared to bring it up. So like where did it go from there?
So you just told me, bro, you just gotta do it, bro. Basically, that's what you told me. You're like, you just gotta do it. So I mustered up the courage. First I told my mom because, moms are always easier on you. So I was like, hey, Mom, I think I'm gonna do real estate. I think I'm gonna drop out of school. And I was like, she asked me a few questions and I was like, I just told her, I was like, I spoke with my friend John. I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna join Keller Williams, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, okay, if you know what you want to do, go ahead and do it. It's just make sure it's something you want to do. Don't come back and regret it later. Because this would be the year that my class graduated. So she said, just basically don't regret that you didn't graduate on time, or you want to go back to school later on and you didn't graduate on time. The real problem came with him was my dad. So surprisingly, the first time I told my dad that I was going to drop out, he was okay with it. He didn't really seem like it bothered him. The second time, I didn't tell him a second time. It was, he had came to me. He was like, so I know you said you're dropping out, but do you plan to go back after a year? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I'm not going back. Yeah, I'm not going back. And he was like, what do you mean you're not going back? Blah, 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 blah. He basically like was trying to tell me that I needed to go back, basically. And I was like, I'm not doing it. You see, there's a whole bunch of successful people that didn't go to college or who didn't finish college. And I gave him an example of some
entrepreneurs,
and I think I gave him the example of Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos, he didn't go.
I think he dropped out. I don't remember, bro.
Yeah. I gave him an example of somebody who dropped out. And he was like, he said their name, like, you know, when someone says it in like a conniving way, like Jeff Bezos. Yeah. And then he was like, now you're saying anything, and that just lit a fire under me. I don't know. It got me so angry. I was like, ugh, like you know when you get mad, like you can't say anything.
Yeah.
But it was just like, man, I'm gonna prove him wrong. And yeah, that's what I did.
No, so like for me, like, bro, when around the time when I ended up telling my parents, like, my grandparents be talking up a storm. Like, you say one thing and half the family know by the end of the week, bro. Like, that joint is so annoying. I love my grandparents, but like, man, they gotta shut up sometimes. You feel me? Like, damn, grandma, you telling the whole family my business, man. Telling the whole family. But right, so I ended up telling them, and they was tweaking. So like, to them, like college, because they immigrated here, bro. So like college to them, like that's like the goal. And like all my cousins, and no disrespect to any of my cousins, but like school and like Mendez was like that. Like they didn't you know, they didn't go. Like, my cousins have a very bad track record of just being awful at school. No disrespect to any of my cousins, but they probably not listening to this because they're not really into entrepreneurship. So you know, they know I'm probably not gonna hear it. But yeah, school wasn't their thing. Most of them, like a lot of them, stayed back and stuff. So for me, like, I was almost like the golden child because I always had good grades in school. And so like everyone like, oh, John's gonna be like the one to go to college, like da 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 da. And so when I just told them that I'm dropping out, they started speaking to me in Spanish. Like, oh, you need to go back to school, this and that. Like, you gotta go back. Like, what are you doing? Like, so what you gonna do? And like, for a while, like my grandpa, he was funny with it. So he'd be like, oh, licenciado, which means the licensed guy, right? But like he was saying, like, you know, sarcastic way, because I got my real estate license. He was like, oh, licenciado, you know, and just say comments like that, like, you know, it always threw me off. Like, like, what do you mean by that, bro? Like, what
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, what you mean by that, bro? I'm talking about licenciado. Like, bro, don't worry about me. I'm chilling. I'm gonna be good, bro. And so. It wasn't for a while that they finally started putting respect to my name, because like then my aunts and my uncles had like, I don't know why they felt entitled to like, you know, to even have an opinion. Like, bro, I don't even live with y'all, bro. Like I see y'all at holidays and that shit. But then after the pandemic, like my family, they stopped getting together, so I didn't even see these people anymore. So like y'all thinking, bro, y'all not telling me nothing. Like, yo, John, you know, you can get to school and yada yada yada. Like one of the most annoying things I always hear is like, oh, you know, school is not for everybody. And I'm just like, bro, what do you mean by that, bro? My GPA was probably better than yours when I was in school, bro. Probably. So what are you really getting at, bro? Because I had a 3.78. I was in honor society. I was in fashion clubs. I was in a bunch of different clubs, like fashion shows. Like I was involved on my campus, bro, when I was up there. It just happened that I had a global pandemic that made me realize that even more that this shit's a scam. Like I was doing what, like I realized it even more that there's a scam. Like I knew it was a scam, but I didn't know any other options. So I was like, man, I guess I gotta get scammed. But then I realized it was a scam and there's other options for me. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing this no more, bro. And so like for me, like there was a mad snarky comments, bro. But like I remember one time, bro, I was in church and this one kid's mom, who I hadn't known his mom, but the kid, me and him been going to the same church for a minute. And his mom was talking to me, I guess because she wanted to get her license. Now, she's in her 50s, bro. Mind you, at the time, I'm like 21, bro. She's in her 50s. I'm 21. She's asking me for advice on how to get into real estate. Cool, no problem. Then she asked me mid-conversation. Our conversations were going great, bro. I'm putting her on game, like, here, she should get started. Right? She's listening to me, real attentive. Then she asked me about, like, college, like, where did I graduate? And like I told her I dropped out. And then I don't know what got over her, but then she tried to tell me like, oh, you know, you really should graduate. Like you need to get back. And I'm like, yo, bro, in my head, I'm like, man, you lucky me in church. But like, you know, me in the house of the Lord, so I'm not gonna bother. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, Bro, how are like the audacity for you to come here and ask me advice on how to get your license, which I did in my 20s, right? And you in your 50s and still haven't done. And now because I didn't graduate college, like now you think you can tell me? You asking me for advice on how to do something that I already did? Because at that time I was already in real estate for like a year, right? So it's like you asked me something I been did
exactly,
and that you probably procrastinated on your whole life or something. You feel me? So like. That threw me off, but like you get so many comments when people hear that you drop out. Yeah. And it's like so like for you, once you drop out, like after you actually dropped out, like what was it like at home? Like did you have aunts and uncles or your parents saying anything? Was your sister saying like anything?
Nobody said nothing to me. I mean, even if they did know, they know not to say something around me because I mean it's not like I'm a hothead or anything, which is like I'm not gonna let you disrespect me. So, like, nobody really said anything to me. It was just that everybody saw, like, I was working. Like, when I said that I was going to get my license, I was up every morning except for that one day when I missed that class. I was up every day for the real estate university classes. So, nobody really said anything to me. It was mainly the people at my job. Like, because I work at a grocery store. I work at ShopRite. So, it was customers coming in. It was, they were saying, how's school going? What school do you go to? And so I used to just tell them I went to UConn. And yeah, they used to be like, oh, so you work here part-time? Yeah. So I'm just basically telling them, I said, oh, I don't go to school anymore. I do real estate. They were like, oh, what made you want to do real estate? And I was like, I would tell them what made me got into real estate. And then they'd be like, oh, but maybe you should get back into school. I was like, yeah. I would say it because obviously I can't be rude to them because I'm at the register and I'm not trying to get fired from my job, but it's like, I'm not going back to school. I told my parents I'm not going back to school. I'm not going back to school. Like, I mean, that's your opinion. That's what you should think. You should tell your kids that. I'm not going to do it though. Cause and also because when I went to UConn Stanford, I had zero debt because they gave me a pretty good financial plan where I could pay it off each semester. So I'm looking at it like these kids, the majority of the kids in my age, they go into these schools out of state, they're racking up $60K debt every year. So I was like, first, I didn't get any debt from UConn Stanford, so I was lucky. And so now I'm in real estate, so I'm double lucky because I don't got debt and I don't got student loans. So I was like, man, these customers, they can have an opinion, but now when I tell them that, nobody really says anything. I tell them it's almost like I didn't go to school when I tell them. They ask me how's school going. I'd be like, I do real estate. I never went to school, but I just tell them I do real estate. And don't ask me about school. Yeah.
It's one of those things, bro. It's like, I don't know why people feel so entitled to give their 2 cents. Yeah. Like best. This is one of the things that always got me mad, bro. It's like, I despise, like, when someone will give you advice that doesn't know you. Exactly. That's like, bro. That's like saying, hey, like, you need to lose weight. I think you should, I think you should, try keto. Let's say you keto. Whole time, let's say you have, low blood sugar or whatever, or something like that, and you can't even do keto. So, like, exactly. And like so it's like, people try to give you a solution, a diagnosis, before even listening to the whole symptoms, to the whole context of the situation. Like, bro, they don't try to understand what made you come to that decision. They just hear a bit of information and then try to give their advice on it. Yeah, but it's like one of the things I always learn is like, the way I see it, bro, and it's just like, don't tell me how to live life based off the life you should have lived but chose not to because you procrastinated, you were scared, or maybe you were lazy, whatever reason. A lot of people who like get older, I feel that they didn't do as much as they could have. Try to live life through you. Yeah. So that you can do the things they never accomplished because for one reason or another, they didn't. And so it's like, bro, God already had blessed you with a life. now you trying to live through me, bro? Like,
Exactly.
nah, bro, live yours while you still here. I'm gonna focus on living mine, right? Because God bless each of us with a life for a reason, bro. So it's like, you live yours, I'm gonna live mine. And if you're not doing what I want to do or have never done what I want to do, then like, thank you, but your advice, it's like, you can't take me to the promised land, bro.
Yeah.
You've never been to the promised land, so you can't take me there, bro. You don't know how to get there. That's like watching a YouTube video on how to start a business and then starting a business coaching business. Like, bro, you watch one video on how to file your LLC and freaking
now you think you got a business.
now you're a business. Now you're a business coach.
You got a business.
Now you help people start their business, bro. And so, man, I ain't gonna lie, my camera about to die.
Yeah, I know. It says 54 minutes.
No, the thing on the right is the battery.
Oh.
So that's it for part 1 of this episode. We spent mad time trying to figure out the setup, but now that we know how to set everything up, we definitely gonna have to get a part 2 going. So Darren, like, we're gonna put a pin in it right now, and then we're gonna get back, and then we're gonna give you guys the framework to dropping out of college strategically. Because we're not telling you to drop out with no plan. Me and Darren both had game plans, but it just happened to both of us be real estate. He's still in it. I'm not in real estate at all anymore. License is still active, but my focus is on AI. But in part 2, we're gonna get into like the framework to strategically plan a successful dropout. Boom. Sound valid?
Sounds valid.
All right, bet. Boom.